Welcome to Massive Late Fee. And now your hosts, Mark and Carol. Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to Massive Late Fee. It is November 6th, November 8th.
What?
1995.
It's December.
It's December 85th.
Sure.
It's December 8th.
It's cold outside. That's about all we know.
1995. And we're coming at you with more confusion about the date. And maybe I can't read a calendar.
I don't think you can.
My name is Mark. With me, as always, is my girlfriend, Carol. How you doing, Carol?
I don't know anymore.
Oh, hey, you're supposed to say your catchphrase.
Hey, what's up? I don't know what is going on.
We're having a good time doing a great show. That's what's going on.
I don't know about all that.
Wait till you hear the final product. Carol doesn't understand that editing can happen.
On our little cassette tapes that we make in, your bedroom.
Yep. Remember that when you hear the final version of this, that there's stuff that you didn't hear.
Thank goodness.
Anyway, so this week we're going to be talking about a television show and a movie.
We are, just like every week.
Do we do that every week?
We do.
First, though, I'm going to read some news to you.
What you got?
Well, Alanis Morissette. Is 1995 going to be the year of Alanis Morissette? It says, when it's all said and done, 1995, just may go down as the year of Alanis. Gulp. Yeah, Alanis Morissette. Okay, so maybe it's the year of Mariah, then Alanis. Or the year of Hootie, then Mariah, then Alanis.
What were they smoking when they wrote this article?
Well, I mean, Hootie and the Blowfish is huge.
Yeah, but I mean, it's just the continuously starting over, like, they seem confused.
Whatever. The bottom line is...
They sound like you with the date.
That young Morissette has forced... What the fuck does that say?
Oh my god, you're holding it up closer and closer like an old man.
What the hell is that word?
Did you not read this before you decided to talk about it on the show?
I read it in broad strokes. Whatever. The bottom line is that young Morissette has forced more folks to concotain opinion.
What?
CONCOCTAN and then opinion. Concotain.
Yeah, I don't know that word either.
I mean, do you see why?
That is a made-up nonsense word.
Young Morissette has forced most folks to concotain opinion.
We're going to have to go get a dictionary when we're done recording and look it up.
One way or the other. In just 6 months, she's not only earned one-name status, she's become one of those artists everybody either loves or loves to hate.
I don't know anybody who loves to hate her. I love her.
I don't either, and that's why I wanted to read this article. Because I don't keep my ear to the ground of the music scene, so right. I'm not in the know as far as a lot of the music stuff goes. I just listen to what I like, and I talk to my friends and stuff about what I like, but I don't...
Closely share your opinions.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, we all come from the same the same background and genetic... field. Because all my friends are related to me.
Yeah.
But it's just nature and nurture, It's the two things.
Uh-huh.
That's why we share so many opinions.
Right.
Why?
That's what I want to know.
I'm making a joke and your response is just, right. Anyway.
I'm sorry. I'm apparently like a dumb blonde inside. I don't get the joke. To me, nurture versus nature is not a joke. It's,
Don't you fuck with nurture versus nature.
It's a very relevant question of our time.
Yeah, okay. Anyway, well, the most relevant question of our time is who hates Alanis Morissette.
Yes.
Why? They said she pushes more buttons than Courtney Love.
That's not possible.
But I don't understand it. Why? Why would people hate her?
I don't know. It makes me sad. If you guys hate her, you need to write us and tell us why, but we will hate you.
No, we won't.
Yes, we will.
I won't hate you.
I'll hate you forever.
Carol might hate you, I guess. But I won't hate you. But yeah, write in and let us know why you don't like Alanis Morissette.
You almost said Mariah Carey.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness.
I think I secretly don't like Mariah.
What about Hootie?
Hootie and the Blowfish.
I like Hootie.
What do they sing? They sing that, what do they sing?
Something about Traveler or something?
Traveler?
Yeah.
You mean Blues Traveler, which is a completely different band?
Maybe.
I think you're thinking of Runaround.
Yes, thank you.
That's Blues Traveler.
Damn.
Ooh, once upon a midnight year,
What does Hootie sing?
I woke with something in my head. They got that really popular song.
Which?
Oh, it's the I always want to be with you.
Okay, yeah, that's good.
They do sound similar.
They do.
It sounds almost like a country band, Hootie and the Blowfish, which is weird. Darius Rutger Hauer. Darius Rutger Hauer.
That's the lead singer's name?
Well, that's the lead singer's name and the antagonist or the secondary antagonist of Blade Runner.
Oh, you know what they sing that I love so much?
No, Let Her Cry.
Yes.
Apparently, the answer to that was yes.
That's it.
Let her cry. I know they love the Dolphins for some reason. You know what we should do? We should interview Hootie and the Blowfish.
Sure.
So we can figure out what they sing.
Let's get right on that.
I know exactly how to contact them to interview them. We will get with Tabitha Soren, queen of the info hop for MTV News.
Sure.
Well, they're talking about how on MTV News, Tabitha Soren is like the new Barbara Walters because she's doing a series, The MTV Interview. And speaking with people like gangsta rapper Tupac Shakur. You familiar with Tupac Shakur?
Of course.
Are you really?
Not personally,
You're
but...
that into the hip-hop scene?
No, but you don't have to be into hip-hop. I'm sure my mom has heard of Tupac.
Oh, I'm sure she hasn't.
You want to bet on it?
Yeah, I would absolutely bet on it.
All right.
I am sure she has not heard of Tupac Shakur.
Usual terms.
Yeah, usual terms.
All
That's right. Anyway, so, that's Tabitha Soren's scoring good interviews here. But you know who else scored a good interview? CNN's Greta Van Susteren.
Okay.
She is a lawyer and a host of the legal program Burden of Proof on CNN. And she is getting an interview with none other than Orenthal James Simpson.
Wow.
Yeah, O.J. Simpson says he's going to talk. She's going to get him to talk.
From prison, huh?
He's not in prison. He was found not guilty.
Oh, yeah. Oops. I just had
you
alternate...
laser focus paid attention to that trial, huh? We talked about it so many times on here.
alternate reality.
Do you even know what we're doing?
No.
Oh my goodness.
But that will be very interesting to hear the interview with O.J. Simpson.
You're sure you're not
from
blind,
his
huh?
home.
Yeah, from the comfort of his home.
Right.
With his blood-stained Bruno Mollies.
He doesn't have to worry about bending over for the soap or anything.
No, not at all.
No.
He double murder and it's fine.
Only in, my crazy head, apparently, he lives in prison.
Okay. You're not blonde, right?
I swear.
Yeah. Dark hair.
Yes.
All right. Good. When we first started, the thing I had to edit out was Carol said, "Why do I have a microphone in front of my face?"
Wow.
She didn't notice that she was talking to a microphone all these episodes.
Right. Sure.
Anyway, on to TV.
Yeah. He made me watch a weird show that I've never heard of before.
It wasn't that weird.
It was a little weird.
It's buried in, I think, Fox's, lineup of things. It's called High Society.
Yeah, and it has a lady from Designing Women.
Jean Smart.
Who, practically tries to rape her best friend's son on camera.
Yeah.
And she doesn't care.
That's why I wanted you to watch it.
Right.
Yeah, he's going to soccer practice.
He's an adult, just to clarify.
He's kind of. I mean, he's like a teenager. He's going to soccer practice, and he's got the number 68, and she goes, "Oh, one number short."
She was touching him all over. Mm-hmm. It was so inappropriate.
He's a good-looking kid, isn't he?
Well, yeah, but, she's 50.
I don't think she's 50.
She is old.
She's a romance writer.
Yeah, which I guess means she's just horny all the time.
Yeah, that's the thing. Stephen King is constantly murdering people in his
right
in his little small towns, and romance writers are always horny, and science fiction writers are secretly from the future.
There you go.
That's what TV thinks.
What about writers who write about serial killers?
They're secretly serial killers,
right? Okay, good to know.
Or they secretly want to be serial killers. So you'll have to watch yourself around them.
Right. He's been working on a book, people. I'm a little scared.
Right. No, I'm being fastidious.
Uh-huh.
How do you say that word?
Fastidious?
Facetious.
God damn it. I didn't even know what word you were trying to say. Oh.
Fastidious, I think, is the other word. You mix the two words together. Is he trying to say facetious or fastidious? I'll just say both
there you go.
at the same time. and he'll know which one. Anyway, so she's a romance writer, but she can't write in this episode.
Yeah.
This episode is titled The Naked and the Deadline.
Yeah, she's got writer's block. She's supposed to be going away for the weekend with some hot guy, apparently. She's so fucking horny. I think
she made it up, that up, but go ahead.
I didn't get that, but that makes sense. But her friend's like, what's his name? And she says, baby, oh, baby.
Yeah. And she goes, oh, he's Irish.
That makes a lot more sense that it was made up.
Yeah, I think she was making it up because she had writer's block and she didn't want to tell her editor that she had writer's block. It's this show, and I don't think you've seen this other show I'm going to reference, but this show reminds me a little bit of Absolutely Fabulous.
Okay.
I don't know if you've ever seen that.
I don't recall it.
It's an English show with Jennifer Saunders and someone else that's not named Jennifer Saunders. I can't think of it's Patsy and Adina. That's their character's name. But so they're like best friends. They drink all the time. And they just quip at each other.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
And that's kind of what this show is like. Now, I know you didn't like the show at the beginning.
No, because the jokes were a little too, in your face.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't like how she was pawing at the, young man.
Right. You say, young men are my domain. Stay away from them, old women.
Right?
I get it. You're very protective of young men.
Well, and it doesn't make a lot of sense that, she's doing that in front of her best friend, and she's not affected. I think most moms would hurt their friend if they were, coming onto their son.
Gene Smart's I want to fuck your son, so what?
Right. It's weird.
She knows it's never going to happen, though. The mom knows it's never going to happen, so she just doesn't bother.
I guess.
We get to see a little bit. This first episode of this I've seen as well. But somebody told me it was a lot like Absolutely Fabulous, and I like that show a lot, so I decided to watch this. But we get to see a little bit of the publishing house, I guess, or whatever, and the owner of the publishing house, and some Italian dude who's apparently has a pimple Although they didn't, like... Did you see a pimple?
No.
Like, hair and makeup didn't even...
They failed.
Didn't even say, hey, let's put even a small pimple on here so the joke resonates. He just has perfect bone structure and skin.
It's crazy.
And then everyone says there's a pimple, and we're supposed to believe there is.
Yeah.
So she's got writer's block, and most of this is like a montage of these are things to get you out of writer's block.
Yeah, and they're rich, so they can just do whatever the fuck they want anyway.
Yeah, she's a very famous... she's like a Danielle Steele or something like that. You know how Danielle Steele famously tries to fuck her best friend's son?
Sure.
No, I mean, like, how she's a romance writer. A famous romance writer.
Mm-hmm. Right. All kinds of weirdness. Like, they even have some guy come over and feed them tea with testicles in it.
I didn't know what the joke was going to be, but this is a very old setup for a joke, where he lists a bunch of ingredients that are normal, and then one weird ingredient.
Right.
Where he goes, do you like the tea? It just has ginseng and ginger and Cameroon and I don't know.
Bull testicles.
A bunch of different spices. And then, goat testicle, I think he says. And then they spit it out, and he goes, did you get a choke?
Oh. So gross.
Yeah. That was kind of funny. But, because that was that last part was unexpected.
Yeah.
The other part is expected, but so much of comedy comes from things you don't expect.
True.
Boo! Did you all laugh at that?
I'm gonna go with no.
Because you didn't expect me to do that.
But yeah,
People say I boo weird.
Well, it doesn't sound like you're trying to be scary.
Like, even like angry. Because sometimes I'll be at a football game and I'll be watching the Lions lose and I'll go, boo!
You're such a freak.
Yep.
You sound like, I don't know, the ghost from Count Chocula cereal or something. I don't know.
Boo Berry?
Whatever.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry. I mean Boo Berry.
Right. Anyways.
I couldn't even commit to the bit for an entire 30 seconds.
So, she also takes her shopping. Oh, she gets really depressed. That's it. Yeah, she gets really depressed and she gives up. What? This
doesn't sound like a sitcom anymore. She gets really depressed and she gives up. She teeters over the balcony of her 55-story penthouse.
But she decides that she's going to stop writing.
She buys from a catalog a rope and a stool.
Oh my.
But yeah, no, she does. She gives up and decides she's going to stop writing.
Because she just doesn't want the pressure anymore, which is stupid.
She changes her hair, too.
Yeah, she changes a lot of things. Like, she stops hitting on the cute boy, and she just, like, lays around and stuff. So her friend drags her to...
And her maid apparently likes to sing spiritual songs, I guess. She's like,
yeah.
How's that song go? Give Lord your glory, glory.
Yeah, that's not that's like a kid's hymn or something. I don't know. I used to sing it in Sunday school.
Wake up, or something like that.
No,
sun's out, sun's out.
Stop. You're off. Glory, glory.
Satan loves socks.
Stop it. I don't remember either, but yeah, it's something. And she just sings along. Like, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
I'm guessing that in past episodes she probably would have made fun of her.
Well, at the beginning of this one, she goes to strangle her.
Oh.
Before the theme song.
Okay.
And then someone stops her, and she doesn't strangle her to death.
So yeah, she's acting very strange.
We could recut this as a horror show,
right?
Very easily.
She takes her shoe shopping because she thinks that if she gets her around her fans, this is her friend, that they'll convince her to write more. And they don't. No.
She's like, oh, that's great. Thanks for being a fan, but I don't give a fuck about you people anymore, or ever.
And then last ditch effort, she has apparently her frenemy.
Yeah, you coined that word. It's such a great word.
I love that word.
Frenemy.
She shows up and they get into it, and she's finally inspired to write.
Yeah, she's inspired because she knows what she wants to write about. That's the thing is, like, Her writer's block was not having an idea, apparently, which is not what writer's block is. But
No? You don't think so?
not really, no.
Well, what is writer's block?
Writer's block is you're writing a story and you don't know where to go. You get all in your head about, I don't know what to do now. I'm going to doubt myself forever.
Okay.
That kind of stuff. Not having an idea for a book is not to me, is not writer's block.
Well, I think some writers feel it's writer's block when they sit down to write and nothing comes, even if it is at the beginning and not the middle. You know?
I guess, yeah. I mean, I guess. But, yeah.
She sat down to write thinking it would come to her. It did not.
I don't know. I think ideas are easy. Writing's not the easiest thing in the world, but ideas are not that hard.
I think ideas are super hard. I mean,
really? I don't agree.
You have just, if it's for you, you're different, okay? Your whole way of writing is different.
Am I like Newprin?
What?
Little, yellow, different.
Alrighty, sure. I don't know what that is.
I'm not little.
No, or yellow.
Or yellow.
But no, like, I mean, the fact that you can just be like, well, it's just write. You just write. You just sit down and do it. Like, not everybody can do that. That's like a special gift that you should be grateful for, not something that you should look down on other people because they don't have it.
Oh.
Yeah.
You give me a lot to think about here today.
I'm trying.
Speaking of things to think about, let's move on to the film.
Yeah, we watched.
This is definitely a film.
We watched this movie.
It's a film.
It's like 3 hours long, and I was a little scared to spend 3 hours watching a movie, but...
She was scared to spend 3 hours alone with me.
Well, no, honey, I do that. Maybe alone in the dark, but anyway.
Because I'm writing a scary book.
Yeah, because you're a fucking, serial killer writer, and that scares me.
If we lived in a TV show, yes, I would be. Apparently.
We saw Casino.
Yes.
And
Casino, I believe it's pronounced.
No. Robert De Niro.
Yeah, he's in it.
And Joe Pesci.
He is also in it.
It's so weird to see Joe Pesci in this role after having seen him in With Honors, like not that long ago.
Yeah, that's right.
Very, very different.
Also, Home Alone.
Yeah. I think that's how you could tell he's a really good actor because he can be so versatile.
Goodfellas.
Right. Although he does play a mobster a lot, yeah.
My Cousin Vinny.
Yeah.
Other movies, I'm sure. He was in Raging Bull, I think.
Raging Bull.
Yeah, that's Robert De Niro being a boxer in black and white.
Oh, cool.
Also, Sharon Stone.
Yeah.
Is Sharon her Stone in this movie.
They all are doing, an excellent job in this movie. It's a very, very good, gripping story. It doesn't feel like it's 3 hours at all.
No.
It kind of feels like you're watching a documentary, though, the way that, they narrate it. And in the beginning, especially when he's talking about how Las Vegas was formed and how the casinos run and stuff.
Yeah.
It definitely has that feel.
It does. I agree with you. I'd never thought about it that way, but it does have a very documentary type feel, which gives it more of an authenticity than I think the movie would have in other directors' hands. So this movie might be, or this episode of ours might be a little boring, I guess. I hope not, but it might be from this point on.
Uh-oh.
Because, Martin Scorsese is a genius.
Yeah.
He was a guy, he's like you were talking about me, I guess, a fortunate freak who was apparently just made to make movies. Because he doesn't make a bad movie. He knows everything. I don't know how, sometimes maybe just instinctually, sometimes from studying the craft or whatever, but the guy knows how to frame a shot. He knows how to, there's a scene, and there's only so many ways. The reason I say it might be a boring episode is there's only so many ways for me to say, oh, Martin Scorsese is a genius.
There are other things to be said about this movie.
He works great with actors. He works with good actors, and he gets the very best out of them.
Yeah.
I mean, there's only so many ways for me to say that. Now, you might have more interesting things to say than I do, I guess, about it. But there's a scene in the movie where Sharon Stone. I always get those two names confused because they're S alliterative names.
Right.
But Sharon Stone is on the bed and she's all messed up on drugs. Mm-hmm. And Robert De Niro is trying to hug her, trying to comfort her, and the camera starts out at a Dutch angle.
Yeah.
And then it just gets more and more off the wall. And it's perfect because it perfectly encapsulates the off-kilter craziness of what's going on in this scene. Mm-hmm. And that's what I'm talking about. You can't, Scorsese just knows to do that. Just knows that we need a non-standard angle for this scene to give this feeling.
There was a weird camera thing that I still don't understand when he first introduced her to Nicky and his wife.
Yeah, like a shutter type thing where it's three shots close up on her, but it's like the camera shutters each time they cut to another shot. I think it's supposed to convey. I like the shot. It's an interesting shot, and I think it's supposed to convey kind of like the whoa, give that whoa effect of this is the most beautiful woman I've ever seen. Kind of like whoa.
So that was supposed to be from Nicky's perspective?
I think so. Yeah,
that would make sense. Or, I mean, having seen it and knowing how it ends and everything, it could also be like this is the moment that everything's put in motion.
Oh yeah, that's not bad either. Yeah, this is the turning point for everything. This is like it's like the seismic change of the world, almost like an earthquake, like pulse, pulse, pulse.
At first, I thought it was that like the wife didn't like her, like I don't know, because that was like the new thing, but I don't think that was it because they seemed fine.
So this movie beautifully blends great directing, a tight script, fantastic acting, and music.
Oh yeah, the music was amazing.
Scorsese's very good at using music for. I mean, there's a point where he's talking about his wife, and it's diegetic. It's on the radio, and it's something like you're lying with another man or something like that. It's like almost it's foreshadowy of stuff that's going on in the background. I don't remember exactly what song it was. I can't remember, but I remember thinking about it. I was like, oh, that's clearly pointing to stuff that's going on in the plot, and it's era appropriate and everything because this movie takes place in the 70s to the early 80s. Basically, it's based on a true story of this guy named Frank Rosenthal, and the character's name is Sam Rothstein in this, but it's not a one-to-one comparison. It's not in actual true story, like this is everything that happened, but it's a lot of the stuff that supposedly happened with this dude.
Which is, why I think the documentary part's good.
Yeah.
Everything in the movie changes once her character gets into it, though. I mean, that's kind of when the movie comes to life as more of a story.
You're right. Yeah, you're right. And maybe that's part of the thing. Part of that shot is we're transitioning from the documentary portion of the movie to the story portion of the movie. I do think it's kind of signals transition. But between things.
Yeah, and I mean, I think a lot of the movie is just like the story of their love or whatever you want to call it. But it really bothered me when they got married, like when he proposed to her. She starts out as a character who is basically, a con woman. She's
a hustler.
Yeah, and she's just like living the life, sleeping around, drinking, partying. And yeah, she's gorgeous, whatever. And
that's all she ever wanted to do was that.
Yeah. And he's like, hey, marry me and I'll take care of you. She didn't need to be taken care of. She could take care of herself just fine. And then apparently...
She just wanted to sleep with him.
Yeah.
And get presents for him.
Right. And then, he makes her have a baby with him before they get married so that he can keep her, really. I mean, that's just...
They say... I think it's Joe Pesci narrating this section of the movie. He says, Sam would never, they call him Ace. Sam would never do anything without, that wasn't a sure thing or something like that. So he made her have a baby before they got married. He's like, we even watched her on the honeymoon.
Like, when he was proposing, I literally was, like, thinking to myself, and he's talking about having kids. This woman does not want kids.
No, and she says to him, she says, look, I don't love you. I don't want to marry you. I'm basically, she says, I'm having fun with you, and that's great, but I don't love you. I don't have those feelings. I don't want to get married. And he's like, oh, that can grow.
Yeah.
We can, as long as you respect me, and that's enough. So, as long as you got that.
That's so dumb. And
she also has ties to a James Woods type character. A real James Woods of the thing. James Woods is the actor that plays this guy.
Oh, Lester?
Lester, yeah.
Yeah.
Who was a pimp that met her when she was 14.
Wait, he was a pimp? Mm-hmm. I missed that. Like, I knew he was, like, taking advantage of her and that they'd known each other since she was 14, but I didn't realize that he was pimping her out.
He was. Not anymore, but she was... now, in real life, she wasn't. In real life, she was a showgirl and a hustler, basically. Mm-hmm. But in this movie, she apparently was a 14-year-old prostitute that he pimped out. Like, he found her, one of those runaway stories or whatever. We don't get a ton of... Yeah. We get the flavor of her backstory, but we don't get a huge portion of it. But, like, a 14-year-old runaway or whatever that he pimped out and fell in love with, and he's had this, like, psychological hold on her ever since. He constantly comes to her for money and stuff, and she can never say no to him.
Yeah, he's like her Achilles heel or whatever, like. And
she loves him.
He is the only thing that she really cares about.
Yep, absolutely. Not even her daughter.
She does not care about her daughter. No. I hate, like, as soon as I saw her interacting with her daughter, I hated her. Like, yeah. I liked her character. I was sympathetic to her character until that point, but she was the worst kind of person with her daughter.
They're all irredeemably, and that's a Scorsese staple. Is this underbelly of life is something that he likes to tap into. Not just mob stuff necessarily, but just any kind of undesirable people that don't fit into polite society.
Right.
And yeah, they're all irredeemably awful characters.
Yeah.
But they all have, and this is the genius of Scorsese. They all have each one of them has something I can root for.
Yeah.
At least at some point in the movie. You take Nicky, who's Joe Pesci's character, and this guy is a fucking psychopath that goes around stabbing people in the neck with pens and murdering people. He's clearly he just cares about he wants to be in charge. He's got this giant Napoleon complex.
Power.
Yeah. But no matter where he is, he goes home and he feeds his kid.
Yeah, 6:30 in the morning makes breakfast.
He makes his breakfast for his kid every morning. He goes to the T-ball thing. The other coach of the T-ball is some, federal agent or something like that. Mortal enemy to him. And he gets along with him because it's for his kid's T-ball. This is a guy that otherwise he would, be completely at odds with.
Right.
But he puts all that aside for his kid. He talks to a guy at one point who he's given money to, and he's like, your wife called me, said that the heat's been turned off. I gave you money to feed your kids. You got 3 kids at home. To feed your kids, to keep your heat on, to pay your mortgage. You gambled that money, didn't you loser? And, berates him for not being a good dad, and then gives him money, and says,
go turn the heat on.
Yeah, he's like, go pay your fucking bills. So there are stuff, even for this character, that I can root for. And Scorsese's great at finding and highlighting things like that so that you actually care about these characters. You can root for them, even when they do terrible things. You can see all sides of it.
Well, and you can, and in that you can see that the thing that he values aside from power is money.
Yeah.
Or not money. Family. Thank you.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what makes it even worse at the end because
yeah.
We'll wait, I think, to get to that, but
well, no, just get to it now because we're skipping all around.
Okay, so yeah, they decide that they're going to kill him. These were the bosses from the Midwest, right?
Yeah, Detroit, Chicago, Kansas City, all those different places in the Midwest.
Because he ends up trying to kill our main character.
Yes, Sam Rothstein.
Yeah. So he gets dragged out into a cornfield with his brother, and they beat his brother to death
so
with
brutal.
bats. Actually,
They
not all
beat
the way
him
to death.
almost to death.
Almost to death. Like, he wished he's dead. And make him watch, and then beat him and throw them both while they're still alive in a hole and bury them alive.
Yeah, terrible.
So, I mean, that's absolutely awful, but I think it's even more so because he had to watch that happen to his brother, and anyone else in the world he wouldn't have cared, because look at what he's done to other people. He made people look that bad. You know, I mean, looking at that, I couldn't even look. I had to turn away.
Yeah.
But, you know, when he stabbed a guy with a pen, like you said, a lot. It was
But the
terrible.
guy, but at the same time, looking at it from his perspective, the guy was being an asshole.
Who cares?
Because all Robert De Niro said was, Robert De Niro sees a pen on the bar, and he's like, "Hey, is this your pen?" And the guy's like, "Yeah, it's my pen. Go fuck yourself." Like, just out of nowhere,
Yeah.
is a complete asshole for no reason. And the guy's, and Nikki's like, "What'd you say to my friend?" And just starts like
right.
jabbing this, and the guy's still alive. The guy's like,
And, like, I can't believe that it's like the police don't work. Like, what do
Right.
the police do there?
well, like I said, so a lot of that too is a lot of this movie is political and dynamics of policing and stuff like that, and kind of how corrupt things were. So like police were paid off a lot during this era, and you know they like I said they're in that restaurant, right? So they know the owner of the restaurant. The owner of the restaurant's not going to say anything because he knows if he says something to the police, he's going to get killed, and any witnesses in there are going to be too afraid to say anything. So no one's gonna get word of that happened. I mean, people might talk about it amongst themselves, but
Right.
the police aren't going to have anything to go on from it. They in those little areas that they had, especially back then, they ruled everything. They didn't have to worry about stuff. And
So crazy.
And some people were like on the down low or whatever about their criminal activities, but they made it very clear that this Nicky guy was not.
No.
That he did not. He was very openly
Yeah.
in the mob and did not care about anything.
He tried to bring the mob to Vegas. He tried to bring organized crime to Vegas.
Well, organized crime ran Vegas, obviously, because they're getting the money sent back to him. But he tried to bring organized street crime to Vegas, and they didn't have that They mentioned in the movie that they didn't have that at the time because, you know, it makes too many problems.
Yeah.
The organized street crime makes too many problems, and the casinos make way too much money in a legitimate way.
Right. So, like, the mafia bosses are getting their cut, and the casino owners are, you know, getting what they want. So nobody has the need to do anything else, except when Nicky gets to the point where he's not allowed in the fucking casino, then he decides, well, I'm going to make my money this way.
To me, this movie is about a few different things. So, the overarching plot, then like the big in the background, not personal plot, is the basically the decline and death of Las Vegas as a, you know, organized crime kind of mecca. You know, we don't see the birth. The birth would be a movie like Bugsy, which came out a few years ago with Warren Beatty, where, you know, they like what's his name? Bugsy. Bugsy Malone gets the idea of like, hey, I'm gonna build this casino, and he builds it, and then, you know, like, they legalize it, right? So that'd be the birth of it. We don't get to see that. We don't see that because there are other movies about them. But this movie's about the 70s decline of organized crime in Las Vegas and its eventual death and takeover by corporations like MGM or you know, any of the big corporations that own a bunch of casinos there in Las Vegas, and how it's become like a family-friendly type place and everything.
That was another shot that I loved in this movie, was showing like the way the casinos were, and then like morphing into now and showing all these people with like the fanny packs and the touristy stuff, like charging in, and that's It's exactly what it would look like now.
Yeah, and that's what happened. Like, it went from people wearing suits and everything, and it being a big deal to go to this casino, into t-shirts and fanny packs and stuff like that. And that's how things went. Mm-hmm. And that's, for a lot of people who are old enough to remember Vegas of that time, it's like a tragedy. I don't necessarily think it's the worst thing in the world that it's become more family friendly.
No.
But yeah, that's the overarching plot. Then the other, one of the other main personal plots of the movie is with Robert De Niro's character Sam Rothstein and his sort of rise and fall. Mm-hmm. Like, we get to see his whole rise and then his fall, and Sharon Stone's a big reason for it, although not completely the reason for it.
No.
Because
his pride is the reason.
Yes. So Nicky is about power and family. Vegas is about, I don't know exactly what Vegas is like, because Vegas is almost a character in this movie as well. I don't know exactly what attributes that would have yet, but Robert De Niro's is control and pride, and those are his two overarching things. And his control and his pride lead him, and his sense of loyalty lead him to good things at first, but then as things go on, they slowly start to become his downfall.
Yeah, I mean, the big turning point for him was when he fired the slot manager.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
because
Bob Briggs.
He was the brother-in-law of the county commissioner.
Yeah, who is basically has a huge political influence over the gaming board and all the stuff. Yeah,
and this county commissioner came friendly, respectful, polite. Hey, I want to ask you for a favor. Mm-hmm. And even said, okay, don't hire him back as the supervisor that he was, but can't you find something down lower for him or whatever? Right. And he wouldn't do it.
Yeah, he says, they're speaking respectfully to each other, but Robert De Niro's like, look, he's an idiot. I can't. And he's like, and finally the guy laughs, and he's like, well, you got me there. He is useless. But it's my brother-in-law. Can't you find something anywhere, no matter how menial, for him to do? And that's when Robert De Niro should have said, yeah, okay, I'll find something. I'll find just a title, just so we can pay him, because that's all they want. Somewhere where he's not actually in charge of anything that matters. And everything would have been fine. He would have been playing ball. But no, that control, that pride. No, I fired him, so he's stayed fired. Mm-hmm. And that's his thing. And like with Sharon Stone, eventually, she's asking for, it's a longer negotiation, but it's a negotiation in the same way, where she's like, I want my money, I want my jewels, I want custody of our daughter.
Never gonna fucking
all
happen.
This stuff. And that's what he says. He says, look at my face. Do you think I'm ever going to let you have custody of our child? Someone in your condition, because at this point she's already become a cocaine addict and a booze hound and all this stuff.
I mean, I think in the beginning of their marriage, before, the turning point for her was when he beat the shit out of Lester in front of her.
Yep.
That broke something in her.
Yeah.
And that's when she turned to drugs and alcohol. But before then, I don't think he would have necessarily fought as hard, because she wasn't a danger to the child.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I agree with him. There's no way she could handle it.
I'm so surprised Lester didn't get killed in this movie.
Yeah, he should have.
I almost feel like he did off screen, but
maybe.
But anyway, so I wonder if there's a deleted scene, because I bet you there's some stuff that ended up on the cutting room floor.
That would make more sense, the reaction that she had, if he was actually dead.
Mm-hmm. But anyway, so she's asking for all this, and then time passes and everything. Eventually, it gets to the point where she slowly whittles down what she wants, right? And finally, it gets to the point where she says, I just want my jewels. Mm-hmm. The $1 million in jewels that he set aside for her as basically an escape clause. Yeah. A golden parachute. Here's your severance for being married to me. But he's like, I'm not going to let you touch that because you're a junkie. There is no way I'd let a junkie have this. You'll blow through it in the course of a year, and then you'll be back asking me for more money. But she doesn't want the kid anymore. She says to him, I'll sign whatever you want me to sign. Just give me those jewels.
Yeah.
But and that would have been the best thing for him. Especially with everything else that happened. The best thing for him would have been to say, yeah, okay, and here, sign this, abdicate your parental rights, all this other stuff. Then his daughter wouldn't have gotten tied up and locked in her room.
God. I hate Sharon Stone's character so much for what she did.
But, he could have done that and been done with her, right? Take your money, and then if she came back, he could have a paper that says, no, you don't get any more money, no alimony, nothing. I gave you your jewels, out. You're cut out. But his pride, his sense of control, it wouldn't allow him to do it. And he wouldn't, like he said, at one point he said, and have her make me look like a fool, I'm not going to grant her this. What do you think Sharon Stone's motivation was for the movie? Just money?
Yeah. I think she wanted to be wanted, and she wanted money.
Money and Lester, I guess. those were her, and both of them were her downfall.
Yeah.
Lester and money.
Well, and eventually drugs, that was eventually all she wanted.
I think that kind of is an offshoot from Lester and money, to be honest with you.
I wonder, I do, now that you say that, he was pimping her out and stuff, I really wonder, what was going on in her childhood. I'm very curious about her character.
Just a movie about her would be really interesting.
Right?
Yeah. Because we get to see, basically, the other two's origins.
Yeah. Yeah, because they grew up together and everything.
And then, I was talking about with Vegas, I guess Vegas's desire is also money.
For sure.
Money and people.
Right? Oh, that's a weird... it's just waiting to devour them.
Well, it's like, in this movie, as far as a character anyway, all it does is consume.
Yeah.
Consumes money, consumes lives.
And they show, the aerial shot where it's just, you can see how it's just surrounded by desert and it's just there. It is ominous.
Yeah, Vegas is an interesting city, an interesting area. Because there really isn't a lot around it. And they talk about... No one gets buried in the desert in this movie. They talk about it a few times, but it doesn't happen.
No, they do. Oh, no, they get buried in a cornfield at the end.
Yeah, they get buried in a cornfield. It's like the desert. The hole's already dug, as he says. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's a masterpiece.
It is.
It's another Martin Scorsese kind of epic in scope and in sweep, just the scale of this movie, and it has the runtime to prove it. But it's another knocks it out of the park. The guy just knows how to make movies.
Yeah, it's definitely worth 3 hours.
Yep, for sure. I would go see it if I were you. I'd be shocked if it's not on the short list for the Academy Award.
Oh yeah,
I think Sharon Stone's gonna garner some nominations for this.
Yeah, her performance was incredibly impressive.
Yeah, Pesci and DeNiro are great, as they usually are.
Right.
But her performance is the emotional center of this movie, and in a lot of ways, she's a connection between the two of them.
Yeah.
Even though their relationship predates her, but we didn't even get into the fact that
she sleeps with Nicky.
Yeah, but more than once they have an ongoing affair.
Yeah,
because she wants him to take care of her. Maybe that's her other motivation is to be taken care of.
Like how Lester took care of her initially.
Yeah, when she was a little girl. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep,
that makes sense.
Yeah, and so there's lots going on here as far as themes, as far as it's a beautiful tapestry of a film. Just a lot of things woven together.
Yeah.
But that is our episode for the week. Carol, why don't you tell the people everything that they can do to be people?
Well, just to be people, go to our website at retrolatefee.
www.retrolatefee.com.
Yeah. And you can write us at latefee1994 at AOL.com.
Our motivations are to get you to write us letters and to tell a friend about the show. Say, hey, have you seen the new movie Casino? Then you should.
Oh, my goodness.
Then you should listen to this tape because they really talk about it.
Yeah. That's right. We sure do.
All right. Well, we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.